Everyone, it's Holly from Urban Homesteader and welcome to the garden. Today I'm going to be showing you around this beautiful garden that I finally have in place. I'm very excited to show you guys around. This garden has been a labor of love, to say the very least. This has been kind of like a 4-year process for me. Mostly because there's just so many parts and pieces that had to fall together in place in order for this to happen. So there's a couple of things that I really wanted. I knew I wanted a fenced-in garden, and I also knew I wanted it to be raised beds, not just like the simple 1-footers of raised beds. I wanted like a raised bed that I really don't have to bend over. I'm kind of over that whole scene, so I wanted to make it as easy for me as possible. So just to give you a little bit of a backside story, because I live within city limits, I knew that there was going to be some rules and regulations when it comes to putting up a fenced garden, and I wasn't sure what it was, so I checked with them. It has to do with how close to the road I am, and that I actually needed a permit to build a garden fence. It's a fence, doesn't matter what kind of fence, I needed a permit for it. So we took care of business there, and they gave me the rules and regulations and the distances from the road that I needed to be, and I had that in hand. So that's kind of how I started this. And then I knew I wanted those raised beds, and I also knew I wanted to do it out of stock tanks. So I had to find the stock tanks. That in itself was a little bit of a challenge, but nothing that I don't love, because it's kind of like junking, and I seriously love doing that kind of thing. So we've got 3 stock tanks and 1 ancient filing cabinet that I tipped over, and I had to drill some holes in, I think, all of them, thanks to the help of Pat, who helped me do that. And then, so once I knew what the regulations were from how far from the street that I had to be, and I knew where the fence is going to be, I placed the stock tanks in place, which, by the way, I bet I rearranged 5 times. Not easy. Even when they're empty, they're heavy. But I needed to figure out the aesthetic of how I wanted to do it. So got them in place, and then I had to buy soil. Had a bunch of dirt dumped on our driveway, and then we had to hand wheelbarrow all of the soil into these stock tanks. And when I say we, I'm pretty much talking about Pat, who did most of that work. I was a cheerleader. We only have 1 wheelbarrow, so you do what you got to do. I did do a couple of loads, but it was just easier for him. I'm not that strong, so it is what it is. Anyway, then we got the soil put in. Then we had to put up the fence. I was not interested in planting anything in this soil until the fence was up, because we have too many outdoor guests, shall we say, with so many deer around here, that it would have been pointless for me to plant anything with them to have full access to the buffet. So anyway, all of that time passed. It's probably been about a 4-year thing. So here we are today. I have finally finished planting. Well, not totally finished, but I'm 90% there. We need to get a couple of tomato plants yet, and I want to try to get some peas. I just couldn't find any. So anyway, I want to take you guys on a little bit of a tour and show you what I'm growing, and we're going to go from there. One more thing before we go in there. Also, which is super cool about this garden, these hog panels. These hog panels came from my dad's farm in southern Minnesota, where they happen to have wonderful soil to work with. So I'm hoping that some of that good luck comes with these hog panels and gives me a gangbuster crop. But I wanted to give my dad a little bit of a shout out for hauling these hog panels up here. He had to borrow a trailer, I think, from my brother-in-law. So thanks to them for letting me carry on my dream. So let's get in the garden. Let's go, you guys. Okay, so this is the first garden that you see when you come into the garden and straight to your right. This one is filled with carrots and onions, and as you can see, there is plenty in there. I don't remember how many got planted, but holy moly, I'm gonna have myself plenty of them. Just a little side note, I used seed tape for the carrots this year. This was something new that I just didn't know anything about these things, but holy moly, seed tape is a game changer. If you guys can get your hands on some, I would highly recommend. It is the best thing since sliced bread. That means that there is no thinning necessary when it comes to carrots. And if you have ever planted carrots before, you know that the seeds are so tiny, and there's no way that you're going to, like, they just kind of all fall in the little groove that you have to plant them in. And the thinning process is time consuming, and it makes people feel bad. They feel like they're killing the carrots, and you're not. You're letting the other ones grow. So anyway, seed tape, you guys, highly recommend. Okay, then we're going to come over here. I'm going to go to this garden. This one is just started. I had only 3 tomato plants so far. So this is going to be pretty much all filled with, well, about half of it filled with tomatoes. And the reason for that, the delay on it, is because I planted asparagus, and typically I think you're supposed to plant this in a row. But because of how I wanted to do it, I did it this way instead. So this asparagus is about a week old, and I'm waiting for it to pop through. And then this is a process too. You have to just put in like a couple of inches of dirt on top and let it go through that layer. And then when you see it again, you put another couple inches. So that's why there's this pile of dirt right here. It's all going to be put back, but that's going to be where the rest of the tomatoes go. So that'll be kind of cool. I've never had asparagus before. Love to eat it and grill it and all those things. And they say that, you know, asparagus can last like 15 to 20 years. So that'll be kind of cool. I hope that this is just a one and done, and won't have to do this again, and hopefully it's successful. Right next door, I have got some peppers. This is another large stock tank. I don't know what the distance is. I want to say 8 feet if I remember right. The whole garden is 24 by 24. So it's decent. And there's plenty for just the two of us here. So these are basically just kind of the bell peppers, and I got some fun ones. Like sometimes I just pick them because of the name. Let's see, I'll have to zoom in. Giant Aconcagua. I'm not even sure how you say that. The other one back here is called Big Bertha. And I want to say this Big Bertha one. Oh, let's see. 7 inches for the fruit size. So that is kind of fun. Excited to see how that's going to turn out. That's huge. And then we've got just more bell peppers. I need to get in here and water, and I'm going to do that after I'm done talking to you guys. And the bell peppers, gosh, I just love bell peppers because they're so easy to freeze. So I wanted to get all different kinds. Of course, I got green, but then there's a purple in here. Very excited about that. And then red, yellow, and orange. Yeah, the purple one's over there by the big giant peppers. And let's see, I'm going to spin around here. This is that filing cabinet that I just tipped over. So it's kind of funny, but it's kind of cool. I think it works really well in the center of the garden. So what I have in here are cilantro. Pat hates cilantro, but I love it. And if I can get a chance to make some fresh salsa, then I'm going to throw some of that in there. And I'll find another use for it too. But just one little plant of cilantro, so no big deal. And then I did some Brussels sprouts. Pretty jazzed about that. I've only done Brussels sprouts one other time, and it was a complete flop. So I'm hoping this year will be better. And then these other peppers over here, these are kind of my hot and spicy peppers. There's some jalapenos, and then just some other randos that I found at the store that just kind of give them, it's basically their tag said that good for salsa. It'll give you a little bit of heat, not too much. And then of course in the middle, I've got some garlic that I planted in the fall. It didn't all come up, but most of it came up, and I am really excited about that too. I've never grown garlic before, so it was kind of fun. And then over here, this is the largest stock tank I have ever seen in my entire life. It's huge. I would say probably 10 foot by, I'm 5'4", 4 feet maybe. It's so big. So the plan today is I'm going to finish off with the potatoes. Remember I had mentioned that I bought some purple potatoes? Well, they're ready to go. And so today I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to put those in the ground. And then on the other side of this, you see these little green plants. Those are kohlrabi. Many people in the northern part of Minnesota do not know what kohlrabi is. And it's so good. And we were just talking about it last night. I was with some friends and they were asking me about it. How do you eat it? And I'm like, I just cut it up and put some salt on it and snack on it. You can't really find recipes. One other gentleman in our group was talking about he's never found any recipes for it. I was just happy that he knew what it was. So anyway, kohlrabi is one of my favorites, and I can't wait for these. They got 2 different versions. One of them is going to be giant. I think they come up like at 8. I think it takes it 8 inches. So it's going to look like a softball. That'll be kind of fun. and they're not supposed to get woody, so that'll be cool. Anyway, I should step over here. My plan here is to either get some peas or some pole beans, depending on what I find first. I do love peas, but beans are almost a little nicer because you get a constant crop, like it's always coming back, which is really kind of cool. So I'm probably going to get pole beans, and looks like I ran out of space here for some peas, but that doesn't mean I can't do it next year. But that's it for now. Actually, it isn't. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to plant these purple potatoes. These babies right here. We're going to go right down that trough. Okay, you guys, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to throw these potatoes in, and then I am excited to say that I get to go take a shower. I have been at this all day, actually all weekend, and my feet hurt, my back hurts, I smell a little. I definitely need a shower, and I could definitely use a snack, and I'm going straight to bed. It's going to be early to bed tonight for me. So let's get this done so I can carry on. So we're going to put these potatoes in. Nothing real crazy. You just kind of put the cut side down, and you have to make sure that there's, they said one or two eyes on each of those potatoes. Some have larger ones than others. And I actually cut these yesterday, and then then that gives them time to get a film on them, and that protects them from rotting actually in the process of growing. So gosh, I haven't done potatoes since I was a kid with my grandparents, so this is gonna be awesome. I don't remember ever doing purple potatoes. They probably wouldn't have done that because they're very traditional and would not consider probably eating purple potatoes. However, they ate everything else. They were like into chicken gizzards and that sort of thing. So I'm just gonna keep moving down here line here. A lot of spuds. And then, much like the asparagus, you have to kind of do this in stages. That's why this mound of dirt is here. You're only supposed to put like 3 inches of dirt on these potatoes. And then when they start to sprout up, then you add another 3 or 4 inches until you're out of soil. Man, I can't wait to see if this works. I feel like this is a lot of potatoes in here, but set that aside. I have a lot of organic matter. Speaking of that, hey, I should talk to you guys about getting your soil tested. So that is something that I did prior to putting the fence up, I believe. So you guys got to remember that it always starts with the soil, right? And I wanted to be successful, so I wanted to get my soil tested to see what I was working with, especially since I purchased it and I didn't really know what I was getting. I mean, they say it's garden soil, but you just don't know for sure. So I had my soil tested. That was super easy. It was like $19. You get your sample packet, I guess, if you will, from the University of Minnesota Extension Office. And the process is really easy. You fill out a simple form, send them $19, and it was probably only a week, maybe. They sent me my results and told me that what I needed. So, and actually this stuff turned out it was pretty good. So that's it. So that's all we're gonna do right now. I need to water. So I'm gonna take a little break and get this watered. I have some flowers that I have also planted this weekend, so those need a little bit of a drink. And I guess we'll keep you guys updated as things start to grow. So thanks so much for watching. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. We will see you in the garden again sometime soon.